Internet, and welcome to another episode of It Builds Character, a show where I build pop culture-based Dungeons & Dragons characters, or rather I take a pop culture character and I build them in Dungeons & Dragons. I build them as a level 12 character with standard array stats, using as minimal amounts of homebrew as I possibly can given the source material, and I heavily am influenced by your decisions and your input from the chat. So if you're watching this after the fact on YouTube, you should come watch us live on Twitch. It Builds Character happens every Wednesday night. It should be closer to around 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Sometimes it's a little bit later based on real life stuff, but it definitely does not start after 10:30. Put you for 10 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday nights. That being said, I really take any suggestion. It could be as random or broad spectrum as you want. It could be a character concept. It could be a specific character. I've done things like Shrek, Iron Man, Tingle from The Legend of Zelda. I've done biblical heroes like Samson. I've done anime characters like Himura Kenshin, Yusuke Urameshi, Kirito from Sword Art Online. And tonight, I'm building a LEGO character. That's right, it's Onua from the Bionicle series of LEGO. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, that's possible. I mean, LEGO is obviously, I think if I say LEGO, you know what I'm talking about. If you're familiar with the Bionicle series, it was what I would call LEGO's one of their first real... Oh, thank you for the subscription, Faye. I appreciate it. 17 months. Look at you go. I really need to put my... I keep forgetting to do the friggin' stuff on screen for my... what's it called? For my notifications and alerts on this particular scene collection. But I'll get to that. So Onua is what I would call LEGO's first real... I don't want to call it their first original property, because they obviously, a lot of their properties were original prior to them getting licensing and getting the money to get stuff like Marvel and Disney and whatever else. But Onua was something they sort of took and made more than just the LEGO sets. So, I mean, I've had LEGOs my whole life, and you could get like the pirate set or the underwater set or the spaceship sets. And they all had specific names and really cool things that they let you do. But they didn't really have like a story. They had like a loose story that you could pick up from maybe the like the promotional material manuals, but that was it. The Bionicle series, they made comic books, they made video games, they made TV shows. They really built a lore around this, and from what I was able to do on some research, LEGO Bionicle has been around since it looks like 2001. All the way till basically right now, recently. Looks like 2001 to 2016 is what I could find when I was doing research. Now see, I could have sworn I had Bionicle sets before 2001, because I remember I owned one Bionicle set. You know, they came in like a canister tube, and you opened them, and they were really cool because they were like LEGO Technic pieces, so the more advanced pieces, but they weren't like, you weren't building like a car or a forklift or like a castle. You were building an actual like creature, and that's, I think, part of the reason why it did so well, was you were essentially building an action figure. It wasn't like a LEGO minifig that you put in a greater set. You built the actual action figure, and they usually had cool functionality where like a lot of them, I think the original set had like a little plastic like frisbee disc you could put in the arm and fling it out and like shoot it at people. I remember very clearly I bought the green one, whatever the green one was, when I was visiting my grandparents in Florida, and I could have sworn I was younger than 2000, it was earlier than 2001, but maybe I was just on a LEGO kick and I just went and bought one. So that being said, someone suggested me to build Onua, who is the Earth Bionicle. So I'll give you a very brief Bionicle history lesson, and then we'll jump into actually building the character. So you live in this, they live in this kind of futuristic world, and there are all these different the Bionicle characters, and there are, like, Onua is one of an elite group of Bionicle, and they all basically were trying to gain these different masks that gave them different power, and they were trying to resurrect. Again, I'm very much paraphrasing from what I remember in a little bit of research. There was like a really big bad evil guy, and they were trying to restore life to an ancient spirit. Funnily enough, the spirit's name is Matanui, which is interesting now because I and I'm sure many of you others go immediately to Moana of Matanui, but no, that was the super spirit back in the Bionicle days. So clearly, I guess there's some Pacific Islander sort of heritage feedback kind of coming into what was done to design Bionicle. But basically, they all fell asleep for a long time, and they were supposed to land on Matanui, which was an island in the Bionicle series, and then they were going to head somewhere else, and then they were going to awaken the spirit of Matanui. Something happened, and it went wrong. They didn't end up where they were supposed to end up, and basically, over the course of a very long series with many, many reboots, they were trying to find all these different masks of power, then they were embroiled in a bunch of different wars, then there was an invasion, and then they kind of conglomerated new parts to their body, and so on and so forth. That is a very brief Bionicle history lesson. Basically, we're going to be building Onua, who is the Toa Nuvan, which I believe is the race Toa. Sorry, Toa was the race. And he is the Earth-based one. So this was the black Bionicle figure. Again, I think it was like red, brown, green, blue. I might be missing another one there. White, I think, was the other one. So he has elemental powers. So, things that I know about Onua as a character. He had, again, earth-based powers. So we could make walls of stone, raise earth and rock, and excavate and dig. So we're going to have some sort of earth-based magic. He had he had a mask, which his mask gave him immense strength. So we're probably going to make a magic item that is the mask that's going to grant, basically the equivalency of one of the belts of giant strength. He was very wise, but he was also very quiet. So he didn't really speak up too much, but he was quite intelligent. He had these really cool weapons, which were basically dual chainsaw blades that he could channel his energy through. They could rip through rocky terrain. He could attach them to his feet to be like sweet, like treads to go over difficult terrain. I think later on, like, because it was a it was like an action figure, kind of almost like, it might have even been a cartoon, but I think it was like a CG series. To make more toys and have to make new Bionicle sets, you would need to update and change everything. So he replaced his cool double chainsaw arms with a shield, which is dumb, because double chainsaw arms are awesome. They were called the Quake Breakers, which is also just a fantastic name for a magic weapon. He had two of them, which also could be a name of like a band of NPCs in your game. Yeah. So he also had really great night vision. You can see in the dark. So I'm trying to think about what we could build around that. So I don't think there's any. We could probably shoehorn in an existing race and call that Onua, or call that a Toa. So let's jump over here to D&D Beyond, and we'll try to start figuring out what we're gonna do here. So Onua is the name of our Bionicle, and then sure, we'll allow playtest. Oh, my freaking mouse. I really need to buy a new mouse. Yeah, we could give him, like, sunlight sensitivity, right? So really good dark vision, but can't see great in bright light. You know what? Actually, I forgot about Warforged. Oh, I'm a bad Eberron fan. You're right. Warforged is probably the perfect race. That's about as close as we're going to get to a Lego creature. So let's go with that. That's a great idea. Thank you, Endless. That's fantastic. Part of me, because I always enjoy doing this, I also want to see if anybody's made an Onua race. Because you never know with D&D Beyond. Anybody can do whatever they want. Or Toa. So let's search Toa. See if somebody made the Bionicle race. Kuatoa. 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 A lot of Kuatoas. Okay. No Toas. The actual Bionicle race. Which, again, not surprised. What was... Toa Nuva. Maybe we can search that. Oh no, it would have shown up. Alright. So that's that. We're gonna go back here. And we're gonna build a Warforged character. Warforged? So we've got Envoy, Juggernaut, and Skirmisher. I feel like he fits more in the Juggernaut category, but I don't remember what they all do. So Envoy is going to give us what? It's going to give us 2 ability scores of +1. And then, what do we get? Skills and a tool. I don't think so. I don't think we're an Envoy. How about a Skirmisher? I think that's Dexterity. Dexterity, walking speed, extended travel pace. No, we're a Juggernaut. Warforged Juggernaut. Alright, I'll see what we get here for this. Ability score, con. We get our Warforged Resilience, which fits. Our resting ability, we're going to have Iron Fists, which he did have Claws, as all Toas have, so that fits that. Powerful build. Now we need to choose what his integrated protection is. So, he was a pretty tough, tanky dude. So I'm thinking we're probably going to lean more on, like, heavy plating. Rather than composite plating. Actually, I guess it doesn't really matter, because it's 13 plus your Dex mod, plus your proficiency bonus. Let's start with composite plating. And we can always change it later. Okay. Why don't we do our ability scores next, and then we'll do our class after that. It's a standard array. We've established that he is wise, so we will give him a higher wisdom. He is pretty tanky, so we will give him a decent constitution. He's not, I'm going to say not very charismatic, and I don't mean because he's not pretty, because Bionicles don't really see that, because they're kind of a robot person. He doesn't have a very good force of personality, and he's not super intelligent either, because it says he's intelligent, wise, and strong, yeah. He also, it's been stated that, like, he wouldn't speak up, even though, like, it would make sense if he did, because he would prefer to stay quiet. So I'm going to give him the 15 strength and the 12 dex. Problem is, it says that he was very strong, period, and then he got the Mask of Power that made him even stronger. Yep, strong silent type. So let's go back to his class now that we have his ability scores designed. So we know he's got physical striking capability. So he's got some degree of martial prowess. He also has a lot of elemental-based magic. So obviously we're going to lean away from wizard, right? We're not going that route. We could argue barbarian, I guess, for the Storm Herald barbarian, but he actually has, like, the ability to raise rock into, like, a wall or to move earth. So, like, one thing I can think of off the top of my head is the move earth cantrip, right? That's a cantrip that lets you literally move Earth. That would be a great thing to have. I was leaning towards Druid because of some of the magic. Wall of Stone being a big one. I can't think of... I was trying to think if there's a good way to get Wall of Stone and Move Earth as cantrips and a spell relatively easily, but I can't think of a good one. I mean, there's not really like a great wielder of the elements in 5th edition. Like, all different spellcasting, I'd say almost all spellcasting classes, to a degree, can wield a lot of different elements. Like a sorcerer and a wizard and a warlock. Actually, a sorcerer, a wizard, and a druid can wield like fire and ice and acid, different kind of lightning spells. But there is no one who like specifically focuses only on like the elements, like an elementalist. Let's go with druid for now. And then, well, we know he's going to be 12. Problem is, well, now we got to go change our plating because he can't be a druid with composite plating because he couldn't wear metal armor. So let's look at the druid circle options to see if any of these actually fit. That's the problem, is I don't think any of the druids particularly fit. Maybe we can make it work with a Circle of the Land. But he's not like... The problem is he's not really like a spellcaster, per se. He can do elemental earth magic. I mean, it's almost like we could get away with making that a feat or a... like making it a feat or like just a feature that he has. He can cast the Wall of Stone spell at will, and he knows the Mold Earth cantrip. And then we can make him something else. I'm just I don't know. I mean, we can get him Mold Earth through a Magic Initiate. Eldritch Knight, he won't get high enough to cast Wall of Stone. I don't think he could, even if he wanted. War Cleric? Maybe. You know what? They are kind of religious. Because they have these kind of greater spirits and things. Paladin of Nature, Cleric. Okay, alright. I'm more in tune with the idea of them being faith-based. Because there is a lot of like history and spirits and stuff in Bionicle. So let's start with Paladin, and then we'll probably end up going with Cleric, just because I don't think there's a... So Oath of the Ancients, Paladin. None of them really jump out at me. I mean, Oath of the... I mean, you could be like, oh, he's a hero. He could be Oath of Heroism. But I don't think it really... I don't know. Actually... I'm kind of leaning towards maybe this. Way of Elements Monk could work, possibly. It's just so bad. And I haven't gotten around to putting in my fix for Way of the Elements Monk yet. But when I do, maybe we'll consider adding it back in here. Alright. I'm leaning towards Paladin. I'm leaning towards Oath of Heroism. Because I feel like it fits. I don't know. He's a strong silent type, so, I mean, maybe it doesn't. But he's really strong, so the Peerless Athlete Channel Divinity kind of works. The spells, the domain spells, aren't the best, but they're not bad. And, I mean, we picked kind of in my brain, I'm going with more of an earlier version of him. Not like the later one that has the shield and the cannon that shoots like ghost energy or whatever. These aren't bad spell choices. He's still not gonna get Earth Magic, though. I really like the idea of Paladin, but it's just, I don't think it's gonna sit right with me. Because he's never gonna get... He's gonna be a total badass, but I think we might go with Cleric, actually, after all. Alright, now which Cleric? War was a good option. Nature would be a good option. Check what nature does. Look myself in the eye. Charm animals and plants. We might do a multi-class, actually, if we can swing it. Well, we can't. We can't swing a multi-class with Paladin because we gave ourselves garbage charisma. So that's out. Let's go back to our race and change our plating back to being heavy plating. Alright, back to the class. Fighter 2, but I still want you to get the elemental magic. Oh, I see. You're saying multi-class with fighter. That might be it. Alright. Let's get it. Let's at least get Wall of Stone. Okay. We're gonna go Insight as a skill. History as a skill. Guided Strike, I think. Yeah, what are we gonna get at 10? You know what? Let's do that. I'm fine. I'm down with that. We'll do 9 and 3. What a weird multi-class. Oh, is he actually gonna get anything beneficial from being a fighter at 3rd level? Action Surge, I guess. Action Surge, Second Wind. Alright, alright. We can do that. We'll give it a shot. Yeah. Oh, you know what? We can do the fighting style. That works out because we do 2-weapon fighting since he wields the dual Quake breakers. So I'm down with that. Okay. Alright. That works out well. I'm leaning kind of probably towards Champion as our option. Yeah, he's a strong silent type, so either that or Samurai. Champion's just easier for me. Improve critical. Always good. Alright. So, War Domain for sure. We're gonna go down here, we're gonna give him a feat. We're gonna give him Dual Wielder. How are we doing on ability scores at this point? 17, 12, 14, 10, 14, 8. That's fine. This will go here. And we're going to give him +2 wisdom. That's not what we wanted to do. We wanted to do this. Wisdom. Wisdom. Okay. Alright. I think I'm digging this thus far. I'm just going to give him the Acolyte background. I think that works pretty well. And we're going to give him Athletics. Obviously. Alright, I think we're at a good point now. He's going to have a decent amount of health. You know, we got to give him some items and things. He's got a 20 armor class. He's immune to disease. He's resistant to poison. Advantage against poison. He's got his iron fists. Pretty powerful. He's going to have the ability to attack as a bonus action 3 times per day with his one Channel of Divinity feature, which is War Priest. He can Guided Strike to get a bonus to attack, which is sweet. He can give the War God's Blessing to somebody else. He still has Divine Strike, so he's going to get the extra D8 on an attack roll. Second Wind, Action Surge, 2-weapon fighting, advanced critical hits for 19 or 20. Okay. He's got dual wielder, so he can wield 2 full-size weapons. So let's pick spells, right? Divine Favor, Shield of Faith. I'm digging how this works out. Also, having Spirit Guardians as a spell. Actually, no, wait. We can cut back. We can go to 7th level. Because that is... Yeah, let's do that. 7th level is 4th level spells, and that is Wall of Stone, right? I think. Where's Wall of Stone 5th? Can Druids not even... Or Clerics not do it? Or is it 6th? Crap, what level is Wall of Stone? Okay, Druids... Oh, can Clerics not even cast Wall of Stone? And I've been thinking of Druids this whole freaking time. Ugh. Yeah. Son of a bitch. Alright. Well, time to rethink this one. Druid, Sorcerer, and Wizard only. Oy. What a bad set of options. He is not a wizard. Ugh. Well, we could up... Alright, let's go back and look at it again. That's okay. That's okay. I was digging the faith base on it. It's gonna have to be Druid. We need the Earth Magic. I mean, again, we could just make him all fighter. So here's our options at this point. Having gone through this a little bit thus far. We can switch the Cleric to Druid. Cut back on the Druid, increase the fighter level. Or we could be a fighter... and the whole way, and then give him like a feature. All right, hear me out on this one. Let's try this one real quick. Let's try Eldritch Knight. I'm just curious. We'll come back to it. But I have some thoughts here. What spells can we get? Alright, Mold Earth is a spell we could choose. So we're starting on the right... that's what I'm looking at to see if we can get enough that'll get us... Okay. What Earth-based stuff? Catapult always makes me think of Earth-based things. Earth Tremor. Let's see here. Earthbind. Maximilian's Earth in Grasp. Dust Devil. Okay, alright, this may be how we do it. And we'll just give him Wall of Stone through a feature. How many spells do we have left to choose? 3 cantrips, 2 more cantrips, and 5 more spells. Alright, we can make this work. This is good. I like where we've ended up. Let's see what we got here. It's not my original path, but this works for me. We can make one if there isn't one to give him Wall of Stone. We give him the shield spell, right? That sounds like it's reasonable. Let's see here. I feel like Shatter would be a good one, because I feel like Shatter is a very earthy spell to me in my brain. So I'm going to give him that. I'm also gonna give him Earthbind, because in my head, that's also an Earth. It says has Earth in the name. I know that that's not really technically an Earth-based spell, but I'm gonna add it. He's a Bionicle. I'm gonna give him Jump. And in my mind, Catapult is Earth-based. Is Erupting Earth? Did I miss Erupting Earth? Or is that just not available till way later? Yeah, Erupting Earth comes later. We're not high enough level to get Erupting Earth. At level 12. I think we gotta be 13 to get Erupting Earth. Yeah, 13 for that. So we're gonna give ourselves, where was I going with this? Catapult. Okay, so cantrips. We got Mold Earth, which is the big one. That's the one we need to have. Blade Ward do again? It's not too bad. What is a good... We'll give him a Thunderclap, so he at least has an attacking cantrip, or a damaging cantrip of some kind. And I'm going to give him Blade Ward. I don't like doing that because Blade Ward is garbage, but I will give him that anyway. Alright, this is a much better turnaround. So now we have like 1,000,000 ability score improvements to go back and add, though. Let's go do that. Alright, so we're going to give him Athletics. And Perception. Ability score improvements. Where are we at on ability scores now? We haven't touched anything. Okay. So we're going to go here. We're going to give him the dual wielder feat. I'm going to give him a +2 to... Oh, I did feat again. I'm going to give him a +2 wisdom. Actually, no, wait. We're going to give him a +2 intelligence. Because he's intelligent and wise. So we get 2 more ability score improvements. We're looking at 7, 12, 14, 12, 14, 8. I'm really okay with how this is working out, actually. Okay. What else could we give him? I don't want to give him Athlete, but I'm going to give him Athlete. Because I think it fits his character well. That boosts his strength to 18, even though we're going to change that anyway. And we have 1 more ability score improvement to tack on to the end here. What kind of feat could we choose for this? Warcaster? Yeah, maybe. I was actually looking at Warcaster when I pulled up the list, but I don't know if he's super castery. I mean, we give him, he has magic, but... Oh, you know what? He's gonna be wielding 2 weapons. Oh, no, he can use a weapon as a focus, because he's Eldritch Knight. We can definitely allow legendaries. Nothing says we can't. I just try to keep it, you know, as we do homebrews in the weapons and stuff all the time. So it's really it's whatever makes sense. Ring of Earth Elemental. Yeah, you're right. That's a good one. All right, yeah, we'll do that. You know what? I'm just gonna give him 2 more intelligence, so he can be as intelligent as he is wise. That fits the character description pretty well. It's a pretty balanced character overall. We have our earthy-based spells. He's still more of a physical striker. So now we gotta give him some stuff. Let's see what our ring does here. Wall of Stone. Boom. Stone shape, stone skin, dominate monster. Stone shape and stone skin work out very well for this. I like it. We're gonna give him a ring, one of the belts of giant strength. Go fire giant strength. That's gonna make his just what 25. Sure, and we're gonna call this. What is this? Kari, great mask of strength. That's pretty good, actually. We're gonna say he's the we're gonna rename this. We're just gonna call it okay, I like where that's going. Now we just need to do the Quake breakers, which are his weapons, and then I think that's it pretty much. I think so. They're basically dual chainsaw arms. So how do we want to do this? They could dig, and he could attach it to his feet. Think anybody's done? I doubt anybody's done that. But let's go look it up, because you never know, right? Maybe someone made them. I have no problem custom making my own magic items for the purposes of this. But let's just see. Quake, Great Hammer, Quake Ring, Matter Quake. Well, here, I bet you if we look up a chainsaw, there'll be chainsaws in here. Actually, there's not as many chainsaws as I thought there would be. What does this one do? Well, that one doesn't tell you anything about what it does. This is why I hate homebrew stuff on D&D Beyond, because if you don't put... I can even click view the detail page. See this here? It doesn't tell me anything about what it does. See, this person actually wrote the whole thing out. It gives you all the stuff. Okay, this one's got a whole thing to it. Chainsaw Toaster. The Dwarvish Chainsaw Nodachi. That's a pretty nasty looking weapon. But they made it a great sword, though. This doesn't tell you anything. This one's got a cool name. It says Lightning Chainsaw in all caps. I like it. And a sticker chainsaw? That one's a flail. Requires attunement by put stickers on it. Alright, let's try chain. Oh. We're gonna get... Oh, can we search weapons? Oh yeah, up here, weapon. Bladed chainsword. Lightweight sickle blade. Binding chainsword. Alright, what I'm gathering from this is no one's done it. Or done anything that's remotely interesting in the way that I want it to be. I was hopeful, you know, that we could have had something. But we're gonna just have to build them. Alright, whatever. Let's build a custom magic item, guys. This is gonna be a weapon. We'll call them very rare, I guess. At least the base weapon will be a longsword. We're going to say they don't require attunement, because we're going to have 2 of them. You could also do the whole, like, the cop-out, like, if you attune to them as a set. Or they're... How do we... I guess they're twins. They're twins. Quake breakers. They can require attunement. Alright. These... Well, let's just do this. These twin chainsaw... Oh, chainsaw. These are twin chainsaw-like weapons. They can channel earth elemental power. They can also dig through earth and rock easily. They can be attached to your feet to ignore difficult terrain in mountainous / earthy areas. Okay. Create weapon. Okay. Modifiers. One thing we know we're going to do right at the gate. And then we're going to say, where is it? Oh, that's not what we want. I'm going to give him a 30-foot burrow speed. That's going to come from the weapons. So their base longsword. We can go ahead and make them +1. I feel like that's reasonable. Wait, power +21 weapon. What about a huge two-handed that splits along the central groove to 2 times jagged edge swords? In two-handed form, it could be like the Earthbreaker drill held out. Yeah, I mean, we could. It's just, at this point, we're doing so much stuff behind the scenes that, like, that'll never translate well to D&D Beyond. So I think what I'm going to just do is stick with the long swords and just equip it to him twice. That'll be fine. So these are... Oh, how do we do that? Okay, so they're +1. They give you a burrowing speed. They are magic. I don't really have any good way of how we could channel earth magic through them. Oh, here's what we could do. Can go erupting earth. Minimum 1 charge. It has 3 charges. Save DC is 15. So let's see if that worked. This charges 3. Here, long rest. Save changes. Go here, we'll refresh him. Well, we give him the Ring of Earth Elemental Command. So he's got some nasty stuff going on right now. Quake Breakers. Twice. Oh, I see what you're saying. As, It's not only going to let me equip 1, but it's fine. We know he has 2. I don't know why one of them has all the stuff and the other one doesn't. Well, I guess we can equip the second one. There we go. For whatever reason that happened. You know what? Let's just leave it with 1 and pretend that it's 2. We all know that it's 2. So now if we look at his spells, we've got Mold Earth, Catapult, Earth Tremor, Shield, Jump, Dust Devil, Earthbind, Maximilian's Earthen Grasp, Shatter, Erupting Earth, Stone Shaped Stone Skin, and Wall of Stone. That's a pretty decent set of Earth-based spells, I'd say. We gave ourselves the Great Mask of Strength, boosting our strength up to 25. We've got Second Wind and Action Surge. We can bond with our Quake Breakers, so we'll never lose them. We can make 3 attacks a turn. If we cast a cantrip as an action, we can make a weapon attack's bonus action. We have 1 use of Indomitable. And we hit a creature with a weapon attack. It has disadvantage on the next saving throw it makes against this spell we cast before the end of our next turn. We're also a Warforged, so advantage on saving throws against being poisoned, resistance to poison damage, immunity to disease. We don't really need to sleep. We have a 20 AC, which is pretty solid. Our punches do a D4 plus 7 straight up. And we consider it count as 1 size larger for the purposes of carrying things, which is good because he was super strong. He's an athlete as well, so he can stand up from prone easily. He can jump better. And he's a dual wielder, so when he's wielding 2 Quake Breakers, his AC is technically at 21. And he'll do full damage because he has the 2-weapon fighting style. So that is a pretty solid build, all in all. So again, part of the point when we build these is obviously some of this not so much. We decided we would we try to keep the homebrew to a minimal, except when it comes to magic items, right? As we know sometimes we have to do that. But for all intents and purposes, without the 3 items, this character is exceptionally doable. It's really just an Eldritch Knight fighter at that point. But, some of these, any kind of way to get Earth-based magic really allows you to play this character if you want to try to play this character in your own home game. And I'd say, like I said, with a lot of the characters that we build, more often than not, except for the ones that rely super heavily on magic items, they are easily built and playable in your own homebrew your own campaign, a homebrew campaign. Even if you wanted to try to replicate them for something like an Adventurers League, you could. Just certain things won't be there. But who knows? If you play this in a home game where you roll stats, you could roll higher than I could do with standard array, so your character may be even better than what I built here. So yeah, I think that's it, guys. I think we did it. I think we Bionicled it up. I think we got our what we needed to do here. We got him some earth magic. He's still cool and strong and stuff, which is good. Probably would have been a little bit easier if they asked for the red Toa, because theirs was just like magma swords, and we could have just given him flame tongue greatswords or flame tongue long swords. But that's that. Let's start the music back over. So, if you're unfamiliar with this show and what goes on, there's a link to here's a link to the plan, the It Builds character plan. What I do, or what I have. There's really not a lot of earth stuff. There's really not a lot of anything that's not fire, if I'm being completely honest with you. That's part of the reason why playing a dragon sorcerer, a draconic blood sorcerer, if you're not fire based, is really bad, because you get bonuses to your fire damage that you deal, and for a lot of those, like let's say you're like, I want to do acid, that's pretty cool. You're gonna have like 5 spells from levels 1 to 9 that deal acid damage. I guess I didn't count acid splash, the cantrip, but there's not much. You're gonna have multiple options for fire spells every level. You got a couple more cold options out there, a few lightning options, but not too many. Earth doesn't exist as a damage type in 5th edition, so there's not a lot of earth spells. That's part of the reason why, I think. Unless you're considering acid to be earth, but I don't know. Anyway, here's my link to Season 2 of It Builds Character. You can see, here's what I built. I have to update a few things, like I did put the link here for Strider and Ben 10. Tonight was Bionicle. We did that, so that'll go in here when it's done. Next week is the Shadow Man from Princess and the Frog. So that should be cool. You would think that in a whole thing called the Elemental Evil Player's Companion, where they added nothing but elemental spells, they would have added Earth Elemental based magic, but they didn't. So yeah, the Shadow Man next week. Then we have the most viable character with 4 separate classes. That'll take us into November. We got some Final Fantasy, some Darker Than Black, Vulcan Skull from the Power Rangers, All Might from My Hero Academia. Then we're already into December. And we've got Kaladin from Stormlight Archive, Percy Jackson, which I'm very excited about. Cloud. We're going to have to, or we should just do this right now, right? Where we shift this out because we know that we're not going to be doing this on Christmas. So, when's the 27th of? That should be the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. Alright, so we should be okay. So we're not going to be doing It Builds Character on Christmas Day, probably. I'm just going to guess that. I mean, I could be wrong, I might, but I'm going to say we're probably not going to do that. So, there we go. Oh, we got some chat stuff. What did you guys say? Magical bludgeoning. You could also argue it's magical piercing or slashing damage, depending on what you do with the rock. So I've heard the theories. The next book after Eberron is definitely a class resource. There's no way we've been getting all these different Unearthed Arcana with all these different class options as things to playtest, and them not going to be doing a class-based resource. There's a lot of astral stuff and funky things and weird planes, so it could be Planescape or Manual of the Planes. Yeah, Wednesday before Thanksgiving may be hectic. You're right. I'll talk to my wife before I officially make that possible. Maybe I shove stuff out another day. So it may be, we're going to lose a little bit here towards the end of the year. And then I'll probably actually realistically cut, like from the Predator on, potentially will be Season 3. And I'll just start a new year, because that's kind of what I did with the first one. Right, this was Season 1. We did however many of these are. 29 for Season 1. Obviously, I've done a lot less this year. Uh-oh. Well, I think I hear a kid crying, so I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you all so much for watching. Tune in Monday for more character building, and then Tuesday will be the return to my homebrew campaign. Have a wonderful night, Internet. I'll see you guys next time.